Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Bashem, Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like the heathen. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I was trying to find stuff on YouTube about this. It wasn't much, so I just had to go to the regular internet and found some imagery, and it's still not the imagery that I wanted. I got a couple TikTok videos that I will play, shorts on some statistics and numbers, because this video I think is going to be called "The Two Languages That Don't Lie," and one is the language of the Lord. The Bible, the word of the Lord doesn't lie. What the lies have been told are the false interpretations of it. The Bible interprets itself. It tells its own story. All right. And then, of course, the second language that doesn't lie is math. All right. If your equation is wrong, it's because of your error, not the math itself. Math itself just speaks of brutal truth. All right. Unbiased truth. So, we're going to talk about the Bureau of Statistics and Inflammation Calculator. And we're going to play a video where the girl, goes into it. All right. And she talks about how to find true, history and facts, because they can say what they want to. The math tells you the truth about the matter during a time period. So, without any further ado, let me find this video. Yeah, that's her, but that's not the video I want just yet. That's the second one. Maybe even the third one. So this would be the first one. Let me turn the sound up. And I'll play the video and then go into the scriptures. All right. And here we go.
We are not entering a recession. We are currently in the greatest depression in American history. It's random facts inside my brain where basic life skills are supposed to be, and you're not going to want to miss this. In 1933, the United States was in their worst financial and economic disaster in history. You may know this as the Great Depression. 1933 was the worst year of the Great Depression, where 25% of Americans were unemployed, and those that were able to retain their jobs had to take a pay deduction of nearly half. Those that remained employed made an average of $4,200 a year, according to the IRS. So I don't know if you've ever used the Bureau of Statistics inflation calculator, but it's this nifty little tool that nerds like me that are into true crime and history and facts like to use to see how money has changed over time. So I went on over there and I plunked that on in, and $4,200 in 1933 would be the equivalent of $95,000 today. So in this country's most perverse and destitute time, these citizens were making what would equate to $95,000 today. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means if you are not currently making six figures, you are doing worse than someone in the Great Depression.
A strong six
Subsequently,
figures.
you would need to be making $150,000 to $200,000 a year to be on track with where the average American was prior to the start of the Great Depression.
Wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but I sure don't make six figures. I don't even think I know anybody that does. So we all know the Great Depression was this terrible time where people couldn't afford their houses and had to move in with their parents and downsize, consolidate, so on and so forth, similar to what's happening right now and today. So I was wondering what the cost of a house was in 1933 that the people could not afford their houses. So I did some research, and a new house in 1933 cost an average of $3,900, which was less than the $4,200 a year they were making after their wages were cut in half.
Damn.
The average house in America currently costs $436,800. The average middle-class American makes about $50,000. That would equate to 11% of the cost of the house with their entire yearly income. Keep in mind, many Americans are working 2 and 3 jobs to make that $50,000. So we are not in a recession. We are currently in the greatest depression in American history.
And they're hiding this fact from you. Okay? They're hiding this fact from you. What that goes to show you is that all this education is a joke, and all these people with all these degrees is a fucking joke. It's exactly what it is. It's worthless. It's just worthless piece of papers. All right? Let me grab some scriptures, because you really are being screwed over by the people that rule over you. And the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. And all you have to do is look at the face on the money to see who the wicked is. All right? Go look at the faces on that mountain in the Dakotas. This is Daniel 8:24. Or 25, and it reads, and through his policy, he also shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand, without any power, man. And his policies are crooked, his policies are cruel, and his policy transferred wealth from the hands of the working people to the super rich oligarchies. Because over this pandemic, small groups of people got extremely rich while the rest of the people suffered and became poor. That's why you got these people in South Africa kicking all these Edomites out of South Africa and West Africa, which they didn't want to show on TV, at least not on American TV. They're not really showing it like that. You have to go to the internet to see these sort of things, which means they're going to eventually shut this internet down. Because what you have to understand is that wealth it doesn't get destroyed. Wealth gets translated or transferred from one people to another. Let's go to Sirach 10:8 for that, or the book of Ecclesiasticus. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people unto another. All right. And that's what they do that with by ways of treachery. All right, let's grab that. Isaiah 33. And now these people are being dealt treacherously with us. You'll see them begging. Something I never thought I'd see was Edomites on their knees before a bunch of African Hamite police. Because these are mostly Hamites. There's some Jakes mixed in with them too. But these are the sons of Ham. These are the people, they talk about the curse of Canaan. All right, these are, for the most part, a different race. Not the ones in West Africa. But mainly the ones in South Africa, but then there's some Jake mixed in there too. All right. But those are Hamites down there in South Africa for the most part. All right. But this is Isaiah 33:1, and it reads, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. And when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So you got these videos, these South Africans talking about, oh, my home, my land, this, that, and the other. And it's like, hold on, man, how did you get that damn, you know what, let's play this video.
And it's not about politics, it's not about your skin color. The land you farm and claim to own, please show me the purchase deeds. Then after that, show me the black South African family that were paid in full and said gladly they would leave. But alas, you cannot, because your ancestors consisted of butchers, pirates, and thieves. And it's only due to sponsored colonial genocide that they got that land for free. And now you have the gall to call foul play as though it's land your family had always owned. To put it simply, I would say it's time to leave the land or relinquish what they stole.
And that's just going on. He's sitting up here crying about farm murders in South Africa. Well, they're just taking back what's theirs in the first place. All right? Hey, I've been telling you since I woke up to this truth. The last 16 years, that Manifest Destiny has a part 2. You didn't read the fine print. Like Dr. Grossman told me, well, we stole it fair and square when we were having a debate. And I just told her, hey, you know what, doctor, keep that energy, because the Lord's going to take it from you fair and square. All right? Through the same means, even worse. And guess what? She got quiet after that. Okay? We were having a very intelligent back and forth, and she got frustrated and said, well, we're in control because we stole it fair and square. Because basically I cornered her and made her admit that they stole the land. All right? both here and over there, you know, in the made up place called the Middle East. Okay, and that was her answer. We stole it fair and square, and then I was like, gotcha. Okay, and now they're being, you know, and they got it what, through treacherous means, which brings to mind this scripture. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, one of my favorites. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, like verse 9 or 10. There it is. Yeah, 10 through 12, and it reads, Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10, and it says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found nothing worth. Therefore let us wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with the offending of the law, and objective to our infamy and transgression of our education. And that's exactly how they felt about us. And now you're watching it be done to them. All right, because this video right here is very powerful. All right. Watching this Edomite on his knees, and all these Africans, cops, some of them Jake, he's begging not to be put off his land. Why are you doing this? And so watching, you know, like I said, this is a very, very powerful scene. And then this happened over and over again. And you saw them getting marched. They're literally getting chased out of the world. All right. So they just took him away, took his truck, took his land. That's what's going on. And why? Because none of it's his in the first place. I mean, it is what it is. Okay. Let's go back and play this video now. Let's find this one. Because, you know, the system is failing. It's completely failing. And you got so many videos, you know, with college student and Edomite singing about how it's over, and, you know, they're getting effed by the government, and, you know, and then they're trying to, you know, be all brotherly and show brotherly love to the people of color that they're suffering with now. You know, when you were on top, and this sort of thing was only affecting the people of color and those who weren't so-called white, you didn't care that the system was unfair. You really didn't. You watched our people get railroaded to jail. You know, where everyone remembers that video where Jane Elliott told all the white people to stand up in their class. First she said, raise your hand if you can, you know, if you can recognize the struggles of so-called black people in America. All right. And then she said, stand up if you were willing to trade places with them today. Because basically she called him up the same way I called up Dr. Grossman. All right. She was like, she chapped them with speech, in their own speech. And she said, well, if you can see, and she gave historical facts and examples. And when they raised their hands to agree, she said, good. Now that I know that you know and that you're aware of it, stand up. All you to raise your hand, stand up if you're willing to trade places with them right now. Not one of them stood up. And she cornered them. And she said, well, that means that you're aware that they get treated differently. You're aware that they get treated unfairly, and that you have an advantage over them, and that the laws treat you differently and look at you differently, and that you're safe when you walk down the street. To a certain extent, and you have a certain safety and privilege that they do not. That means that you are very well aware of it. Understand? And that's why they want, you know, and they don't want history to be brought out of what they done. They call it CRT. Well, I call it critical race historical facts. All right. Don't because there was a time, you know, in history when they were proud and claimed, you know, their murder, their rape, their robbery, their theft. And be quickly to remind you, boy, you know who you're talking to. Now all of a sudden they're ashamed of that. They're ashamed of their daddy and their uncle and their granddaddy and their great uncle and their grandma. All right? Who stole people's shit and made people bleed, made people suffer so that you could live with the privilege that you had. All right? Now all of a sudden it's we. No, it ain't no French here, no we. All right? So let's play this last one. This statistic that the lady gives. I don't remember if I played this one or not, but we'll play it anyway. Well, you know what? I'll play it again. I'm pretty sure I played it. I'll just play it again.
Okay, I have to do this super quick. The United States is considered a flawed democracy with a failing economy, and that's according to the Economist Democracy Index, which is the authority on ranking the 167 democratic countries. In July of 2022.
See, what I love about her is she does the same thing that I do. She goes and finds the economic markers, their own statistics, and uses against them the same way that I go and find their history. All right, and that she does the same thing that I do with history. All right, here we go.
Our rating dropped to 41st, down from its position of 32nd, and we are now ranked between Cuba and Bulgaria. And for the know-it-alls that are going to be like, well, that's a second world country. Okay, MIT Economics did a study, and their study found that over 80% of Americans are living in third world conditions.
Yep.
And their study found, and I quote, "The United States of America has regressed materially to a third world nation for most of its citizens. We are, in fact, living in a third world country."
That's right. America has become a third world country. All right. So you're just gonna have the have and the have not. So when that happens, violence will because and especially with these Edomites, because they don't like it when you take back anything that they've taken. Okay. So let's go to get a couple more scriptures, and I'm gonna close this up. This is Psalms 69 and 22. And it reads, "Let their table become a snare before them, and that they should have, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap." And that's what's happening. It's all backfiring on them. All right, so that whole little system, that whole little scam is falling apart on them. This is Job 18. I'm going to start at verse 8. And it reads, "For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The gent shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet." Wow, let's see that image one more time. Let's see that image one more time of him getting driven to his feet on his knees. The big mighty white man. I don't want to fight anymore. His face all bloody. And they tell him, "Shut up, you're going to jail, boy." Why are you doing that? All right, I'm sure that's what Jake was screaming in Hebrew as they was getting put in them chains and forced to work. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Bakak, Badash, Wa Abba, Babal, Kwam, Yasharala, Shalom.